Have you ever gotten so overwhelmed with the food choices in your life that you just almost became paralyzed? Before we move on to the topic of this video, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie. I'm an eating disorder specialist here on Long Island. I post on this channel 3 times a week and I talk about eating disorders, body image issues, and general mental health. So if any of that interests you, please click the subscribe button down below. I also have an Instagram and a weekly blog. I will leave those links in the description below. If you ever struggled or are currently struggling with any sort of restrictive eating disorder, you more than likely already know exactly what I'm talking about, and you know exactly how it feels. When you have to choose the option between the options that you have regarding food, it becomes so overwhelming, and it's a task every single day, and not only every single day, but multiple times a day. You have your breakfast, your lunch, your snacks, your dinner, and it's something so overwhelming when you're trying to pick what food and then even what variety of that exact food. If it's a protein bar, maybe what flavor of protein bar. If it's a yogurt, what flavor of yogurt. It's just all these thoughts and all these judgments and all this stuff just comes flooding in, and it makes it so difficult to just make a decision that sometimes almost you're like, you give up, and then you don't even know what to do. And then of course then you're eating disorder 1, and then you're anxious, and then it's just a whole poop show. Before I continue, if you know exactly what I'm talking about, leave a comment down below. Have you ever had so much on your to-do list, either by choice or because you just had so much to do and maybe you procrastinated it, and then you just look at everything you have to do and you're like, oh my gosh, you get super overwhelmed, and then all of a sudden you find yourself napping for 3 hours? It's the exact same idea, that all of a sudden there's all this stuff is just coming at you, and it just gets so overwhelming that it's like, okay, I can't even address this. I can't even think about this right now. And obviously when it comes to eating disorders and eating disorder recovery, we can't just let that slide, and we cannot let that become a habit. It's something that we really, really need to address. However difficult it is, I'm going to talk about some practical ideas that can help you make a decision in those moments that you are feeling so paralyzed. So number one idea is, you're probably pretty good at food rules and following rules if you are struggling with an eating disorder. So we are going to use that to our advantage in this case. So figure out a rule that you think that you could actually follow when it comes to just choosing an option. So as I said before, if you're trying to pick between a flavor of yogurt and you have a bunch in your fridge, this is what you're going to do. Your rule is that you're just going to reach in, and whatever you take out is what you take out, and that's what you're going to have, and that is the rule. And this is just something to get you started, to get you through it, to get you more used to making those snap decisions, even though that's not really a decision in that moment in time, but being able to be more comfortable with it and realizing that it's okay. Not everything's going to have to be a huge decision to be made, and sometimes you just got to take what's available to you. And over time, while doing that, it's going to really start to destigmatize it all, and also just make it more easy to just do what you have to do without analyzing everything, because it's just unnecessary. That's all a matter of your eating disorder. The next one is to always have options, but cap it to some extent. So for me, for my snacking, I'm always usually on the run. So what I make sure I do is every day I make sure I pack different types of snacks in 3 different categories. Usually that's what I go with. Something salty, something sweet, more along the side of like wafers or something like that, and something fruity. I know that sometimes people think that, you know, sweet and fruity kind of equate, and yeah, I guess they kind of do. But for me, usually if I'm craving one, it's not the other. So I have 3 of the major ones that would usually fit one of my cravings or one of the things that I tend to go to. So in the moment, whether you're at home or out, you can look and be like, okay, I have 3 options. What is it that I want? It's going to help you to be more in tune with what is going to satisfy you and listening to your cravings without overwhelming you by giving you so many options. So I think that 3 is kind of a fair number, so that you have the options, but it's not too many. All right, so this works also, and it's also kind of in line with following rules and just having some sort of commitment to yourself, rather, which is probably a better way to put it. So, if you're really having, paralysis with this and not figuring out what you want to eat, write down all the options on different slips of paper and just throw them all in a hat. And then say the very first one that you're going to pick, that is what you are going to have. And let's say you really, really, really don't want that. You maybe then can extend it to pick one more, but you have to pick from those two options. So I really try to stick with the first option, and that's something that you want to. Again, it's going to just make it easier for you to just pick something, so that it's not so overwhelming and doesn't cause anxiety for the next time that you have to pick it as much anxiety. So the next time that you get to, or you have to pick something to eat, hopefully by just kind of doing what you got to do and getting through it and not allowing the analysis paralysis type of thing to happen to you, it's just going to make it easier, overall. It's not going to be, the next time is just going to be that much more easy, or that much easier. It's going to be something that's helpful for you in the long run. And the last practical option I will offer for today is to write down all of the options. So on one piece of paper, and start by doing the process of elimination. Like, okay, what really don't you want? And cross it out, and limit it and get it down to a couple so that at least you have a few to pick from. And if you're really having a hard time, look to the person who might be having the same thing as you, or, going out to eat with you, what their choice is. This way, again, it's going to minimize your ability to kind of get overwhelmed with the different options when there's lesser options available. It is really hard, and I wish that I could make it as easy as possible for you, but it really is about challenging yourself and being more okay with the fact that these decisions have to be made, and it's not always going to be the perfect decision, and it's okay if it's not the perfect decision, because you'll have plenty of other times to make better decisions and to make decisions that you really more were in the mood for. But other times it's just going to be kind of what's available, or just getting through that situation and moving forward. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. As I said, leave a comment down below about whether or not you've ever been through this kind of food analysis paralysis, yes or no. You could click my face over here to subscribe to my channel, and I wish you less analysis paralysis with regards to food as possible on your journey to finding your state of balance, and I will see you in my next video.